Hello race fans and welcome to round 2 of the Apex Racing League GT Trophy, live here from Hockenheim. My name is Peter Mackay and joining me in the commentary box this evening is Sam Fitzpatrick with Dennis Branch pushing the switches in our production booth. We had a superb first round of the season at Monza 1 week ago, but a very different circuit out here tonight. And Sam, there's going to be a little bit of more of a different complexion tonight with a lot more twists and turns than we had 1 week ago.
Yeah, I think so. Monza is as extreme a circuit as you can get. It's right up there with Daytona Road Course in terms of the speeds that you possess. You know, the top speeds that you'll get up to. Around this place, it's still got a long straight. Of course, that's a very long kind of turn 5 corner heading into the turn 6 hairpin. You can generate some good speeds, but elsewhere on the circuit, particularly the stadium section, it is a lot more tight and twisty, so we might see a little bit of a changing of the order. Judging by the practice times, it should be a little bit closer as well.
Taking pit lane, handing down a penalty.
It was a weird performance from him, wasn't it? He looked really strong in qualifying, as you say. I mean, to take pole position by 0.3 of a second, it is absolutely monumental. And then picks up a couple of slowdowns in the early stages, generally was just sliding about a lot, and it seemingly cut the pit entry line, or maybe sped on pit entry, very much because of that. You know, backmark, it wasn't backmarker's fault necessarily, it was Husen's fault, but that was kind of how it all started. And so he's got a little bit of catching up to do, and against his championship rivals, they're not going to give many points. He's finished on the podium in every race in Apex Racing League GT Trophy history. So to make up those points, it's going to be tricky for reasons to do, but I guess it's got to start tonight.
Yes, it will. It will have to indeed, but he'll have his hands full. Of course, the BMW M4, the twin turbocharged missile, very, very quick on the straights at Monza, but a completely different complexion tonight. We do have one long back straight here, you can see with Kevin Fitterman coming down into the very tight hairpin, but I think I've got my eye on the Audis tonight, Sam, because those cars, they change direction so well, and that's quite an important part of especially the second half of the lap at Hockenheim.
So, and of course, the core sim racing drivers running the Audis, I think they've got a split team over there, but they are some of the best drivers in the series, so I'm sure they'll be representing that very well. Rusen's on pole position then at the moment, ahead of Winkler. Expect those times to improve slightly as the session goes on. Interestingly, Winkler decided to come into the pit straight away, and Rusen's as well, so they've decided to go for 1 lap and then go in for a fresh set of tyres, and maybe they'll do that 3 times across the session. I imagine they'll be very pushed for time if they were trying that. I imagine they won't have enough time to do that, but certainly would be able to do it twice. Maybe those tyres were really just good for 1 lap, and then you got to back off after that. That seemed fairly wide there for the driver that we're currently watching, Zach Edel. He's still pushing, so maybe he didn't pick up a 1x. The 1x is a pretty good round this place, they're quite lenient. You still got to, be sensible about it, but shouldn't be too much of an element around this circuit. As, it is Huses, I think, with the advantage after the first few times.
Okay, so that's good to see. We've also got 3 manufacturers in the top 3 at the moment. Rosen's in a BMW, Winkler in an Audi, and Anger in a Lamborghini. So nice to see that balance across the board there as well. Of course, all GT3 cars here in Season 2 of the Apex Racing League GT Trophies. The GT4 cars have been dropped, and we've got a packed grid of over 50 GT3 cars, so if you're just a tiny slither off the pace, the amount of track position you lose is enormous.
Yeah, and it is tricky, especially with the fact that we've just got a 60-minute race. Most of our Apex Racing League events have got 2 or 3 races where you get a reverse grid, so if you don't do great in race 1 as a front runner, you just need to make sure that you're kind of in the top 15, and then you'll do better in race 2. In this series, there's no kind of second chances. You want to be as far up as possible, so you got to have the complete package. because by the time that you make up those few positions, you'll have a lot of you'll be long way behind the race leaders. So no, that's absolutely essential. As Pascal Sticks in the Audi does go to the top, and that was Stick's second lap time, I believe, on those tyres. So he made them work for a couple of laps. So that's kind of what we would expect to happen. They shouldn't just be good for one lap, but yeah, certainly Stick's doing a good job there, and at the moment winning the best Austrian driver on the grid award, as he did back at Monza.
Yes, the Christian Klein Salver, as we like to call it, or the Richard Leeds Medal as well. In fact, there is a lot of very good Austrian racing drivers. So interesting. That's an Audi to the top of the standings. Also Winkler in third as well. So good start for fans of the Ingolstadt factory at Audi Sports. Of course, GT3 regulations do permit a wide range of cars, and we have a pretty good selection of them here on the iRacing simulator. We have the Lamborghini Huracan, you can see on screen right here, right now. BMW M4, we've got the Audi R8 as well, and even I noticed an old McLaren MP412C on the entry list as well, which is very cool to see. And of course, in just a couple of weeks' time, we've got the Porsche GT3R coming to join them.
Yeah, and the drivers will get a free swap as well when that car comes out, so I expect to see plenty of Porsches on the grid. I'm sure it'll be the most populous car out there. Tom Bingham has a little bit of a slide. He's one of the front-running amateur drivers at the moment, so you can see on the timing tower, you've got the red stripe, which indicates the driver is a pro, and the white stripe indicates that they are an amateur. We did have a little bit of a change with Corentin Collignon doing super well back at Monza. I mean, he didn't actually win the race. He picked up a 40-second penalty, but he's nearly won despite the 40-second penalty. Hence his change to the pro class, as Newman's just gone up into second place. So it's currently a Corse Sim Racing 1-2. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a change there, and it'll take us a few rounds in the championship to really get a good idea of who's the front runners in the amateur category, because I believe at Monza there was a crash on the first lap between some of the leading amateur drivers. And so that's kind of messed up the championship a little bit. And I think it'll only be after maybe the first break week of the season, after round 3, we have a good idea of who our championship contenders are. So do keep an eye on those. Currently, pole position goes to Karagiet with Dan Mori in second position there, 28th and 29th overall. So we see Richard Gafenku just crossing the line. There's plenty of front runners just approaching the line at the moment, and these are the last times that are going to be published, because once that 10 minutes is up, that is over. There's Gates and Anger in 5th position there, improving, but I don't think he moved up any places. But yeah, less than 1 lap of time remaining. So these are all the drivers' last attempts coming right now.
Yeah, let's see if there can be any movers and shakers. And yes, there you go. Kenny Rosens makes it well, at least provisionally 2 pole positions of 136.357. Edges out Pascal Sticks by 0.05 of a second. So not quite the margin he had at Monza, but, and we see here Stefan Nikilovic taking a wee step off the gas there. So this is interesting stuff. Does anybody have anything to answer for Kenny Rosens, or is it going to be 2 pole positions in a row for the Belgian driver? Of course, his teammate Bondwell, last winner last time out, don't forget, back in 13th, Sam.
That's a big surprise. Remember, Bonjour was second place on the grid, wasn't he? But then, of course, when you think that Bonjour was... It was like 4 tenths off Rosens, wasn't he, in qualifying, or 3 tenths off. I mean, if he's 3 tenths off in this week, then he'd only be in 7th. It just seemed like that team had an advantage at Monza over everyone else, but tonight it's that much closer. So it seems like he's lost out kind of because of that. Good work from Anger again as well. He doesn't usually do very well in the practice sessions, does Anger, but then when it matters, he does well in qualifying. And honestly, any of those top drivers could win. The top 5 can really not call a winner between any of them. So yeah, this one's looking a little bit better than what we saw at Monza, as the sun suddenly comes out here at Hockenheim.
sun shining on Baden-Württemberg. Lovely. Kenny Rosens then on pole position for the second race running, with Pascal Stix joining him on the front row of the grid. Sven Newman and Carl Winkler will start from the second row, making it 3 Corsim racing cars in the top 4. Gaten Anger and Maxime Mariotte will start from the third row, followed by Antonio Piexi, Nolan Lemery, Jonathan Pooley and Stefan Nikalajevic, rounding out the 5th row of the grid. Leandro Andaruti will start from 11th, with Richard Gavencu joining him on the other side of row 6. Starting 13th will be Amaury Bondwell, our winner last time out, alongside Brandon Taboni, Dominic Engel, Anders Ankerson, Baptiste Schneider, Tom Dadswell, Conan Wern and Mark Fletcher round out your top 20. Runner-up in the ARL GT Championship, Danny Lee will start from 21st alongside Corentin Collignon, being promoted up to the pro class. Mick Palich will start 23rd, followed by Callum Brandt for Vulcan Sim Racing. Hakim Grebstad, Thomas Arends, Hugh Haycox, Alain Caregier, Dan Murray and Kevin Fitterman round out your top 30, with Oyston Hereford starting 31st, followed by Aaron Smith, Tom Bingham, Andrew Broom, Dean Powell and Dave Erden. Starting 37th will be Juan Manuel Calleja, with Jason Hodgson starting 38th, and Phil Regan and Fernando Torres rounding out the top 40. Gavin Russell, Dennis Meisner, Stephen Sanders, Zach Edel, Manuel Wacker, Alan Hart, JB Rasmussen and Yuri Pepine Evers round out your top 48, with the last few drivers Angel Pedrero, Marcus Geyer, Vivian Deber, Josh Wiggins and Paul Robson. 53 cars, just in time for our Porsche pace car pulling off.
Good work on that one. I'm glad I'm not having to go through the grid. I've just remembered as well, of course, that we've got so many cars out here. I'm going to have to change my graphics settings because yeah, so many out there. It does take some toll, but very happy to have them all here, and it's very happy to have them all at Hockenheim as well. Watch out for that turn 6 hairpin. A part of me is hoping that we don't see a crash, a part of me is hoping that we see a massive crash, because that's going to be absolutely mega into the hairpin.
Sam Fitzpatrick, the Doom Merchant there for you folks. Kenny Rosen's going to lead us into an hour of racing here in round 2 in the Apex Racing League GT Trophy. The BMW man will lead us to the green, and we are racing at the Hockenheim ring down towards the North Curve. They go. It's a good start from Rosens with Stix and Newman filtering in behind all the drivers, trying to find a bit of a space. There's a crash in the middle of the pack. Oh dear, it's a little bit of a mess, and there's smoke everywhere, and all the car right across the circuit. Oh dearie me, and I think, Sam, that might have taken a couple of our big, might have taken a couple of our big AMPAS contenders out.
Yeah, I think so. Well, that was absolutely disastrous, wasn't it? That must be about 10 cars involved in that instance. Schneider, Dadswell, Grant, Boone was second place in the amateur category last week, being taken out of the right there. Peter was in that area of the circuit to head into the hairpin 2x2. Oh, we've got the 23 car spinning around there, and yeah, pulling on with the spin as it comes back onto circuit and just about avoids contact with the other drivers. Heading into the Mercedes Arena section, that's Andrew Newty getting his elbows out against Gavencu. Podium sits on last time out, of course, was Gavencu. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't drop any more places, but it has been quite a poor start, I believe, for Gavencu. Andrew Newty just staying in 12th place, was just not a fantastic qualifying, as now Byrne is off the circuit. This is out to good start for Liam Patch as well.
Very good start there for Danny Lee, up 5 places at this moment in time, and the leading Mercedes very much, good move there in the stadium as well, just tucks it in tight there as well. Who said that big Mercedes wasn't a nimble machine? Danny Lee making it dance there as well, and he's been swamped by a trio of Audis there.
Yeah, works out very badly, working out badly for Byrne at the moment. He's dropped about 6 places since that, 4 places, sorry, since that off. Going into the stadium. Now he's to defend once again. Palich, quick driver, just bumped the top 10 last time. A message, guys, further down the order at the moment. Here is Marriott. He's got Terry right behind. As we say, it's tricky to defend at least into the hairpin. And that was very simple for the Portuguese driver. He's up into 6th place, and that's the only change we've seen so far in the top 6 places.
So it's all clean at the front then, but a real melee in the mid-pack, and I feel that's going to be the story of the season here in the ARL GT Trophy. See Danny Lee having to defend hard there from Bern in the Lamborghini. And whoa, speaking of Lamborghini, we've got one curling around, and it's Nikolajevic. I need to press Nikolajevic. Oh, well, that's a bit well done.
Down to 20th, got away without any damage, thankfully. Did Stefan. As this is look at how far Mario and Victoria's got away. So that's yeah, picked up them by 2 seconds now. This was a pack before the start of this lap. But yeah, these guys I think the second and a half slower than the race leaders last time round did late, so unfortunate for him. He's got one dual right on his tail. You just see the BMW in the background there, gets out of the way of the front runners. And we will start this this chase once again. Turn 5 in his corner, is straight. Dual maybe a little bit too far back to take advantage of the turn.
Yeah, you can get a good run down there and just lean on it on the brakes. And the good thing about these GT3 machines is they do have anti-lock braking, so if you get a little bit over eager, you can just sort of hold your foot down and let the computer worry about it. And it can get you out of a few sticky situations. Whereas in the GTE cars, the kind of bigger brother of these machines, if you get a little bit too ambitious on the brakes, well, you're leaving a big black line down the tarmac and the locked wheel. So what happened here? This is Bern, I think.
I can think.
Sorry, coming into the hairpin. Oh, it just comes to a halt. That's bizarre.
Did you not see the code buttons?
Maybe not. No, that's my graphics are big. Playing funny business as well.
I imagine that was the case, yeah. That was making as well. It looked like at least a bit in deep and went into the car ahead, so it was running into 12. I think that's into Tabone. That's into Tabone. Unlucky Fairy actually gained a few places off the start at Tabone. Meisner now is dropping down. He's going to drop he's around these guys. You can just see a flat shot there as they storm past. I don't know how you get onto that piece of circuit. You're not meant to be joined right there. He's back on his way. He's alright. That's G. Russell just in front. That's not George Russell, by the way. That is Gavin Russell. George Russell's less successful brother.
Yes, in a BMW. No, he should be in a Mercedes.
Well, yeah, well.
That's the story of the family's life. They should be.
Maybe, well, he should be being the slowest car on the grid at the moment. Really. That would be apt.
Yeah, having to punch above his weight every single week. Anyway, we're going. We digress. It's still leads by massive big lunge. That's the problem, is you can't lunge in, but the thing is, if you lunge in, you can easily get a thump off the back by the driver that you've just gone past. So it's really a kind of Constantina effect there into the hairpin.
This is a replay of the start then. Great work from RPG Sensi. Gets us this footage. Oh well, actually it happened behind, didn't it? So this is Maury. He was second place on the amateur grid. He has got involved in another one here, has he, Maury? Oh, he's trying absolutely everything. Oh, great work. Great work from Maury there. He has had to take a fast repair, I think. Yeah, he did have to pit, and actually I think he got a speeding penalty when he came into the pit. So he was stationed for 41 seconds, so that's a shame for Maury. Otherwise he would have actually been really good to get away with that one. But no, that is a shame. By the way, amateur leader now, Aaron Smith ahead of pole sitter Kagiet at 21st and 22nd. Smith up 11 places from his start. Mighty effort so far from Aaron. He's also one of the runners in the F3 championship that we have on a Saturday here on Apex Racing TV. And behind them is Timbone, of course, maybe badly. So Timbone's just got past Progiet right there. So expect him to start pulling away. And Tom Bingham for Performance League Esports, the amateur winners in the Apex Racing League GT Championship. So he will be looking strong. Also, thank you making up those places after that collision at the hairpin earlier on. He's just got past Ankerson, it seems. So it's all changed at the mount. Surprised thank you got away with that contact, but that front end of the Lamborghini is a little bit of a plough, so he kind of got away with it.
I think someone needs to make a Mr. Plough livery for the Lamborghini. It'd be quite cool. Now, it looks like Winkler in the Audi has dropped back a little bit. Gabe Hanger has moved up a spot. He's up into 4th position. Winkler has dropped back out of the podium position. So Rosen still leads. Sticks in 2nd, Newman 3rd. So, and look at how close they're lapping together. Interestingly, Jonathan Poulet a couple of laps ago set the fastest lap of the race. So he's clearly got plenty of pace underneath his Lamborghini.
Who was that, sir?
Jonathan Poulet.
Yes. I think he set the fastest lap of the race. Actually did. Maybe got a bit of clean up. But yeah, he's only... Oh, sorry. I'll leave. Dear.
It never was.
Oh, Anker's just got past into 3rd place. And I was listening to you when you said that he got past Winkler, but he's just got past Newman as well. So, why don't we get a replay of that one? They're also grouped together, which I think is another thing that you said. To get past one, get past the next. We can see a replay now of it. And this will be fairly simple. Well, actually, there was a little bit of a defensive move, but didn't go enough defensive. Oh, wow. Wow. And he had to get on the brakes immediately once he caught the slide. And up into 3rd position. Work.
Oh, wow. Well, that could have been huge. That could have been both drivers out of the race. And kind of a little bit of a 50-50 one there, Sam. You don't really need to be making little rubs of contact on the straight, but just a good fortune that they all got through there. So Newman back to 4th then. Gate and Anger on the move. Our defending champion, don't forget. And I have to say his performance last time out, to get on the podium when the Lamborghini clearly was at a big disadvantage on the straights of Monza. I think that result could be critical to the championship charge.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is a 9-round season. We do have drop rounds, but you're in such a competitive field. Yeah, it's going to make quite a difference come the season end. As this is Collignon, who's actually apologies, of course, Collignon just recovering up the order. This involves in that first lap incident. He's back up into 27th position. This starts in 22nd. Place, and is at 22nd now in class. Here is Vern, who's actually done very well to regain some of the places that he lost earlier on. But he's side by side with Fletcher at the moment. Fletcher will have the better line into the left-hander. Vern is at threats. This is Vern might lose out some more places here if he's not careful. Let's hang on to it for now. Obviously, Palach quite safe to car down, but Palach is up 8 places from his start. You can see all the position changes and the lap times and the pit stop times and the pit stop laps, all that useful information by clicking on the live time link in the description below provided by SDK Gaming, and that'll open up a web page for you, and you can see all that very useful information on another monitor. So do click on that. The link is in the description.
And of course, as well, if you're a budding iRacer, then get yourself a subscription to SDK Gaming, and you get the heads-up display, fuel calculator, and big spin for Newman, and checks him up in front of Anger. Goodness me, dearie me. Oh no, it's Sticks. I do apologise. It's Newman's teammate. So Sticks got a big wobble on the exit of the Erfurt Parabolica, and Anger didn't have anywhere to go. Let's get another look.
Yeah, Anger was getting fairly close in the first place, wasn't he? And then it was kind of just on that inside curve, wasn't it? Took a little bit too much curve, maybe, and kind of hooked the car around. Off the circuit goes Sticks. 10th place now, he's 5.5 seconds off the lead, so that is a huge shame for himself, and of course Core Sim Racing as well, who have now just got 2 cars up in the top 4. It's very much of an advantage to have as many up there as possible to help yourself with the strategy, so yeah, bad luck for him there.
Bad luck indeed, yeah. It wasn't a really... And the thing is, the Audi has a lot of plus points. It's got good straight line speed, it's very good in change of direction, but it's quite short wheelbase, and it can be quite a twitchy car on the limit, and that was really quite a vivid exhibition of that characteristic right there.
Yeah, he did well to catch the slide in the first place, but yeah, once he got slowed up, Anger no to go. So Anger up into second place, as he always does, just makes his way through the order, as that's a very slow car here, and this might get a bit tasty because that was, what's that, Rasmussen with a slight mistake. The cars behind him are going alongside. Oh, big slide for the Ferrari, and that is Hartz, I think, losing a few places. Now he's onto the drag strip. Can go wide there and not pick up a Soden, as I found out in a race. So yeah, not too bad work there, and yeah, shouldn't have to slow down anymore. But yeah, Hart lost a couple of places right there, and I think at the front that was Rasmussen having a big slide. We did check up the rest of them. There goes Oyston Hereford. He's past the amateur. Apologies, that's Smith and Kate yet in the background. There's a few back markers in amongst these as well, but I think that's Tabone gets past Hereford, sorry, and then Smith and Kajiet having quite a mighty battle for the amateur lead just behind. There they are. Kajiet's just lost the back end of that one, and Bacon fairly close as well, and Bacon as well. This is many trials still fights for the amateur lead.
Yeah, great to see Aaron Smith in such a rich vein of form. As you mentioned, Sam, he's been doing so well in the Apex Racing Academy F3 series on Saturday nights, as you rightly mentioned. So great to see him switching that over to the GT car. And oh, that's a big tap there for Schneider in the fiercely forward Audi. And what a great deal he could have done there. That was pretty unceremonious.
It's a very awkward corner, that. I don't know who designed it. Well, it was Tonka, but I don't know whose idea that corner was. It's not necessarily that bad, but when you get side by side though, it's invariably ends badly. It usually bounces around this part of the circuit end badly as well. That is Meisner holding on to the place, but Hart managing to take advantage. Now he gets another big slide. Remember, he nearly spun going into the penultimate corner on the last lap. He's nearly spun through the final corner on this lap, and just as he got past Orans, he has lost out once again. 15 minutes into this race, the pit lane should open in about 5 minutes' time. I say that because once you can get to the end of the race on a tank of fuel, the pit window pretty much opens. These drivers are limited to 60% of a fuel tank. So yeah, they've got to make sure that they pit kind of within kind of 35 minutes of the finish, 35, 38 minutes, kind of in that range. Anyone, of course, who's got damage probably wants to take that pit stop as early as possible.
Yeah, and try and get any repairs you can get as well. Of course, the drivers will stay on the same set of Pirelli tyres. They can do the 60-minute distance, no problem at all. See, a little bit slow there for Sander in the Audi, and Renz goes flying by in the Core Sim Racing McLaren. In fact, a little bit of contact there in the last lap between Renz and Meisner in the BMW, just ahead of them there. It really does all bunch together quite nasty at times here in the stadium section. Coming back to the subject of fuel, Sam, of course, it's not a very fuel and wow! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
I will just point out Meisner got a tap at that exact corner on the last lap. I feel very bad for Dennis there.
by another sort of wedge-shaped mid-engine car, just a Lamborghini this time. McLaren the one before, then a Lamborghini.
Yeah, that was, what do you have to do? What do you have to do? I mean, to be fair, he's probably braking a bit earlier than those guys into that corner, but, no, he's, been unlucky there. Is that Byrne just going past Engel? Is that him? Well, they both got past Fletcher. I think Fletcher was ahead of these guys, and Lee's got ahead of all of them. Apologies if you haven't caught that, but obviously there's so much else going on, so it's tricky to keep up with it all. But yeah, you can see the 12 on the Audi indicating that he was in 12th place. So Engel's lost 2 places on this lap, and he's got a little bit of damage as well in that front corner. You have to pick that up on this lap, but well, actually, he had a rubbish sector there. We're getting to the bottom of this. He had a rubbish sector in Engel, which is the middle part of the lap, 3 sectors around this circuit. And so that is why he has lost those few places. But great news for Lee. You can see on the timing tag, you kind of got the top 10 in a group, and then you got this group from really 11th down to about 20th position. Very much coming in decimal in packs of 10. These drivers, as here was a mistake from the 296 machine of Rasmussen, who's already made a mistake in the stadium section earlier on. This time it's by the Mercedes Grand.
So 18 minutes into the race here at Hockenheim, and I tell you what, it's been a really super drive so far for Danny Lee in the Mercedes, a leading Mercedes by quite a distance. As well, it was not the preferred car at this moment in time. Of course, all of these very different machines, the Ferrari, Audi, Lamborghini, etc., they're all balanced out via something called balance of performance. Very much the shall we say, the secret winning formula to the success of GT racing over the last decade or so. Not universally popular, but all in all has created an incredible category of the sport. But at the moment, well, the thing is with balanced performance, there is always winners and losers. And at the moment, here on the iRacing platform, the Mercedes is unfortunately the loser. But Danny Lee is absolutely wheeling it right now, driving very, very well indeed. And the one thing it is for sure, though, Sam, is the Mercedes is definitely the best sounding on board.
Oh, I'd have to... I might disagree with you on that one. But, maybe we can leave that one to the viewers. If you've got an opinion, let us know.
Which would sound better? Lambo?
Well, the Lambo and the Audi pretty much sound the same, I think. But I quite like the... I probably prefer... I mean, let's face it, the Ford is obviously the best. I don't think anyone's doubting that. But I mean, from the cars which are on track at the moment, I'd say the Audi or the Lambo are the best. But, I appreciate if you have a different opinion.
The thing is, if the Ford were allowed, which of course it isn't because it's too fast, the Ford is, the best under braking, in the corners, on the straights, best sounding, best looking. Kind of got it all blown up, really, hasn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, we can't let the Ford into the series, otherwise just dominate it, wouldn't it? So. Schneider outbraking Vaca there. He has passed the pro driver Schneider, so you'd expect him to make that move, but he hasn't got damage. Callagher, of course, Kayea, the winner in the amateur category at Monza, down in 37th place overall. He got caught up in that lap 1 wreck. Didn't qualify particularly well either, did Kayea. So he's probably going to lose that amateur championship lead at the end of this. As that's another mistake from Collignon. He had an issue earlier on, which I don't think was his fault, but it was down at the hairpin. That one was his fault, and it's down at the hairpin again. So not having a good time of it is the Frenchman after a fairly good qualifying. Back fairly near the front. Poulet just actually no, Poulet's still making up that gap. Remember that gap kind of grew, didn't it, in the opening stages? I think Poulet was about 4.5 seconds off the race lead within about 3 laps. Ever since then, he's actually been able to maintain that gap and slowly catching up to the drivers ahead. So, just as Roosens is kind of making a gap out in the lead up to 2 seconds, second down to 10, are as close as they've been throughout this race.
it's interesting, isn't it? Kenny Rosen's clearly out to prove a point. He must have been really gutted with the outcome of the race last week at Monza, where he was on. I mean, in a field of 53 GT3 cars, I mean, GT3 is always a very close-looking test in class, but to put it on pole by 0.4 of a second, I mean, that was what covered nearly the top 20 here at Hockenheim. So he was, and then for it all to just unravel and just implode in front of his eyes, he's clearly on a mission tonight, and to be pulling time out of defending champion Gaten Anger, that's no mean feat.
Yeah, I wonder if these drivers are a little bit further down though, in the further down in that kind of leading pack, as we see Russell just off the circuit. Hart, I think, must have re-overtaken Russell there, because Hart was ahead of Russell earlier on. But I'm wondering if maybe, you know, Newman, Winkler in particular, Pizzeri, Marriott, if they'll be saving a bit of fuel though. Maybe could have a slightly shorter pit stop, maybe could go one lap further on their fuel and stay out of traffic. And maybe Reasons will be a little bit vulnerable. Basically, Reasons will not be counting his eggs, his chickens, whatever they are, until they've hatched.
Whoa!
Oh, that's Russell off, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, Gavin Russell off in the Lamborghini at the Sachs curve, and it looked like there might have been a bit of contact there from the BMW behind, who is quite far behind. No, I tell a lie. Sorry, BMW. Yep, no, Gavin Russell losing it all by himself, sadly. Quite difficult to lose it there because it's so well cambered.
Yeah, I love that corner. I remember on F1 2002 developed by EA Sports. This circuit was always real fun. That corner in particular, I have good memories on. Basically, my opinions on all the circuits was how bad was the AI. If the AI was bad, then I liked the circuit because I could actually win there. That's how 8-year-olds me functioned, pretty much. Desperate follows, easy wins. Nothing's changed ever since. Gripstad is chasing down Engel. He's just dropping backwards, isn't he, Engel? So weird to see. He's a quality driver. But,
there's got that damage on the front of us. That's not going to help at all on the front. It's not going to help in two ways, isn't it, Simon? Because it's not going to help on the straight, which is pretty sizable here, and also one of your best overtaking opportunities down into the hairpin. But fuel consumption not ideal either, so he's bound to have a little bit longer in the lane to top up.
Yeah, in terms of fuel consumption in iRacing, at least, it's not 100% accurate, but you just got to think of it as how much time is the driver on the throttle. The more time the driver's on the throttle, the more fuel they're using. So, of course, if you've got aero damage, then you're having to be on the throttle longer because you're having to go down the straight longer. You're going at a lower speed, but putting just as much throttle in, so it takes you longer to get down that straight. So, if it's not affecting you in the corners, then yeah, you will just be using more and more fuel, which can be the difference. You really don't want to pit one lap early in case it puts you out in traffic. By the way, this broadcast is sponsored by SDK Gaming. You provide the amazing graphics that we have for this broadcast and all of our Apex Racing TV broadcasts. SDK Gaming, the absolute best overlay you can get, and live timing software you can get for iRacing. You can do so much customization on it. You can literally make it look however you want if you know a little bit of CSS. And also there's a bunch of templates as well available. So you can make it look like the NASCAR overlay, you can make it look a little bit like a Formula 1 overlay, as this one does. And you can use all the elements such as the track map, the battle box, the timing tower, the intervals between the drivers, so much stuff. So do check out sdk-gaming.co.uk in order to download the software, which is an absolute must-have if you're doing broadcasting, streaming, or if you're even racing, because it's such a good heads-up display as well. As we did just see, Gafenki into the pits. So he's the first driver out of the top 20 to come into the pits, which makes sense because, of course, Gafenki is out of position. He's trying to get the undercuts.
Looks another problem there for Collignon. I think he's pulling over. Yes, he is. So game over for Collignon. That's a disaster. For maybe he's trying to get put back down to Amplast, possibly.
Well, it's not working. Stop
No.
trying.
Well, also one thing which I find very, very helpful on the SDK Gaming overlay is the track map, which you can see up here on the top right hand side of your screen at the moment, and that's we call it the M&M's character. The M&M's camera. You can see the little red and white dots travelling around the Hockenheim circuit here. The red ones are the pro
Oh no,
cars.
the leaders. I think Bonjour has just been taken out by backmarker. Bonjour and Andrew Yutzi there. You can see it coming from a mile off because we had the BMW letting these drivers go. Of I think it was Paul Robson maybe, or maybe Evers, and he spun as he was trying to let the drivers pass, and he's taken out a couple of the heavy hitters in this championship.
Oh, that's really unlucky for Bonjour. And just clips him and no more. That's really, really unlucky. And there's nothing. Oh, I'm sure he'll be just devastated about that. Oh,
Great
dear.
work from
Bennett. Oh,
yeah,
my word.
interruption. I think it was Andrew. You did an amazing job to avoid that one. Of course, Bonjour did get hit. Fortunately, of course, it's around the pit stop window, so they don't have to make an additional pit stop. They can just come in, pick up their faster pair, and get back out. But that's probably ended their chances of winning this race.
Yeah, and of course, Bonjour, winner last time out at Monza with an absolutely flawless drive. No other word to describe it. It was just perfect. Well, there you go. There's two. And yeah, but that is such a pity. Absolutely nothing he could have done. He did try his very best to avoid, and you can't blame the lap car either. The lap car trying the best. It's a really, really busy field of 53 cars. It's not that long lap either. So, but poor fortune all round. So as the pit lane starts to get a bit busier with scheduled stops as well, Aaron Smith in the AM class filtering up to 13th position overall as well.
Bingham's
and
off.
that was a Lamborghini. That Bingham who was second in AM, off onto the gravel, and just about hangs on to it, but loses a couple of spots. Wow! Using his rallycross.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh, be quiet. So why is that relevant? What connection does he have to rallycross?
Well, none, but that doesn't seem to stop.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's even worse now. I mean, I was willing to leave earlier on, but you see, this is why I don't listen to you, because there's this drivel of rallycross mentions and general
nonsense.
Yeah. So, still reasons leading, 0.8 seconds ahead of Anchor. Newman's dropped back a little bit now. Still watch out for Winkler though when it comes to the pit stops. Yeah, they'll kind of spread out now, okay. Pixeri looks quick though. That last lap, he actually lost a tenth of a second to the Portuguese driver, but I definitely will go for a move now. Probably just be trying to save a little bit of fuel and not wanting to go for the overtake because that will lose them time potentially. Now they're coming into the pits on this time round. Expect them to stay up for another 5 minutes or so. Expect Fusens to probably be the first ones going because he's been punching a hole for the entire race. Anger as well probably wouldn't have saved any fuel, but so yeah, Winkler, Pixeri, Marriott should all be able to go the extra lap, I imagine.
The only thing I would say is keep an eye out for Gaten Anger in the pit lane, because a number of times last season he was really, really smart on fuel saving and also just obviously seems to have quite a fuel efficient driving style. He's a French Scott Dixon, that's what he is, Sam.
Yes, yeah. I think that was the case last season, wasn't it? So yeah, maybe that's the case. Pixeri's just got past Winkler, by the way. We just cut away. Oh no, I think there's been a crash between the leaders. You can just see it in the background. And that was Winkler having a little bit of a spin. And Marriott has come together as well. I'm sure we're going to see a replay of that in just a moment. But yeah, that has kind of changed around that order a little bit. Poulet moves up into 5th position now on track. yeah, here it was into the hairpin. Got the course sim racing driver on the outside. I think this is Marriott. Oh no, they kind of just get forced into one another. Oh, that was very unlucky. So I think that was maybe Poulet who made the initial tap into Marriott. He then spun around Winkler as well. I believe that was the case. Maybe it was Poulet going into Winkler who went into Marriott. I'm not 100% sure, but yes, another little trouble for this leading pack.
Yeah, it's been a pretty pretty incident-packed day for the course sim racing crew, but it just shows you if you've got strength in numbers, you can play all sorts of tactics in protecting one another, but also playing different pit strategies as well. So, and of course, just more cars on track, more chance of success. Now, as you see, this is Wandswell now been into pit lane, taking his fast repair, and his service is done. And actually, luckily, the pit window was open when that incident happened. Otherwise, he would have had to take an extra pit stop. But he's got Dominic Engel as an Audi R8 shaped roadblock at the moment.
Yeah, he needs. It's weird, isn't it, to say that Engel's a roadblock, isn't it? But Bonjour does seem to have more pace. As Arance now goes into the pits. Bingham now leads the amateur category, by the way, because Aaron Smith has come into the pits. But Smith is the leader of the amateur drivers who have come into the pits, so Smith should still be leading that amateur category. Bingham just leaving it later to come in. As we see Danny Lee, who's been caught up by Conan Verne now. These are the top two Brits. They aren't biased, but best of luck to them. Don't let your nation down. I'm sure the Queen is watching, as she does every week. Reasons is into the pits, and Anger as well. Now, does anyone stay out? Nah, they're all rushing in, aren't they? No one's able to save the extra lap of fuel. Marriott did save the lap of fuel, so that's not much of a surprise then. I got 1 out of 5 correct, I think, there. So Marriott, not one driver he managed to do it, and he's now got 1 lap on low fuel in clean air. Hopefully he can make good work out of it.
Yeah, it's hammer time for Marriott now, and whoa, got real extracurricular activity going on here between Carrigae and Erdene. Going a very strange line around the hairpin, but they get back going again. Now this is when we're going to see who's been good on fuel and who hasn't, because if you've been good on fuel, you need to spend less time at the pump in your pit stop. So let's see how it all shuffles out. We'll have to wait and see till Marriott and Nikolajevic come out of pit lane. Verne and Danny Lee absolutely side by side. Who's going to have the manners? It is going to be Danny Lee with the Oh, I think he's gone over the blend line.
Yeah, I don't know why you fight that one. Nah, that's going to be a stop-go, isn't it? That was not worth it.
No. That's a very un-Danny Lee mistake, that, if he has been given a penalty.
I mean, the Queen will be throwing her hat at the screen right now.
She'll flat out or Johnny Walker.
She wouldn't have done that. I'm sure about that. Now, this might be getting a bit personal now between these two.
She'd be in a Bentley Continental GT3 as well.
Well, exactly.
Or Aston.
She's probably switched off now. So yeah, Lee's going to surely have to come into the pits, isn't he? I mean, because he went over the white line. I mean, a blind man can see that. So, good thank you. Past Krebstad. Is that pin 240?
It's hardly a headline though. Man in Mercedes doesn't let man in Lamborghini in on motorway slip road.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
Now it looks
This
like
is,
actually, sorry Sam, it looks like Rosens has made up a bit of time. It looks like he's edged about half a second. Anger,
no, that's the leader, isn't it? That's
Aaron
Smith.
Oh, he's just been in the pits. Oh no. Oh, poor old Aaron. Oh my goodness me, that's not what you'd expect from an stalwart. Oh, be careful. Now, which course and racing car was that? Is it Nick Palich? Now, that's a bit of a surprise.
I thought, was it Dadswell? I'm not sure.
I think it was definitely course and racing car.
Yeah.
Palich. And to be fair, Palich catches the curb on the inside. Nothing Aaron Smith can do, and he just gets nerfed into the wall. Oh, he's going to be disappointed with that because he was looking strong for the AM win.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the lead, and I mean, some of his rivals weren't having the best time, were they? So it's now Karagiet up to the top. As Lee has got past Vern, and he hasn't served his stop go yet. That's wide for Vern. Fletcher up the inside. Fletcher, ARL GT, ARL American GT, GTE champion. There you go. But he's still behind Vern. Nikolajevic is just behind as well. After a poor start for Nikolajevic, he's on his comeback. Got a clean car as well now. So catching up to them quick as Engel, I think, just giving Bonjour a little bit of a tap. These guys are being glued together, so Bonjour not getting past Engel as easy as we thought. And, that was a little bit naughty.
A little bump and run. That's got to be the purest bump and run you'll ever see in a GT3 car. Deary me, I'm sure it wasn't intentional, I'm sure. What can you say? Poor old Aaron Smith, because do you know what, if that, as big as that accident was, if that had happened 3 laps before, he'd have been coming into pit lane anyway, but he'd literally just come out of pit lane, and then that happens. That is really a great shame. And we know as well, Sam, that of course Aaron, very talented driver, very fast, but I always think he's so hard on himself.
Yeah, I think you might be right, but that might. Who was that spinning? Was that Ankerson again? Ankerson was running up in the top 15, I think, earlier on. Had a spin. Apologies if we didn't comment on it. And then I did see him drop down the order about 5 places, and he's just had another off there. Oh, that's enough for the BMW. Is that Wiggins? And as a back marker, apologies. So that's a very effective way of letting the faster drivers get past. So good work. So now, yeah, top amateur driver is Karagiet, somehow. Hasn't necessarily been the fastest out there, but he's kept it clean. As Ankerson just gets past Dabur, and then Arons will go through as well. So yeah, it's Karagiet, and then Bingham, despite an off for Bingham earlier on, I think, and Smith actually still running in 3rd position in the amateur category, but he's under pressure from Phil Reagan. I wonder if we could just cut to that. I realise we have side by side there. Apologies, no, it's Reagan versus Palach. And that is Palach just getting up into 24th position. And by the way, I think that that's what we were just watching was Schneider versus Torres, and Schneider was able to make that move into 33rd place.
So, it looks like we've got everyone shuffling into an order now, and so you see Schneider and Torres here, 2 big sporting names here, Fernando Torres and B. Schneider. I always think that would be Bernd Schneider, but it's not. That would be it. But I have to say, the fastest sounding driver in the field, Juan Manuel Calleja. Now, what a great name that is.
Yeah, I wonder what the Spanish name for Peter Mackay is.
Pedro Mackay.
Oh, did it? Oh, that sounds good. You should say your name always like that.
Like, Buenos dias, me llamo Pedro Mackay. Te quiero motor racing.
I mean that's impressive. You know a lot more Spanish than I guess. Nikolajevic has just got past Fletcher, by the way.
He has, and we're getting better at pronouncing his name each time we say it.
Oh, I'm not pronouncing his name correct. I think I'm doing it all the wrong way.
Nikolajevic. Hopefully he comes in for an interview so we can ask him. We can get a bit of a practice of how to do it. But nice and easy. Kenny Rosen's out front, Gaten Anger, and Piesi. Now Piesi, the Portuguese driver, he's jumped up a few spots. It clearly played the strategy absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, I think who he's overtaken there. Did he overtake Newman? Newman have a problem?
Yeah, Newman's had a problem, but he's hopped past Poulet and Marriott. I think he's definitely hopped up a few places for sure as the Portuguese. But at the moment in a pretty lonely third, but I'm sure he'll be quite happy to be lonely in that position at the moment. We see the Horse and Racing Audi alliance here, Sven Newman and Pascal Stix. And although had an issue earlier on dropping away.
Oh wow, what's going on here?
This is a massive accident. Oh my.
Seems to be like 3 drivers. Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, Jason.
This
seems to be like 3 different spins. Yes. Yeah, the Jason Furious.
I was thinking of it Hodgson. I'm like, come on, Jim.
So, oh, and then he just, didn't see the, he couldn't slow down in time at least, and then onto the roof, and that's the worst thing that can happen because the car's not very drivable when it's on its roof. And, yeah, that's a shame.
That is a great pity indeed. Now we've got another replay here, Sam.
Thank you. This one. Still running up in 17th place for thank you, so it couldn't be that bad. Actually, it was really bad. That's very bad. That's one of the worst crashes I've ever seen. But I think he turned off the traction control, got spun back the right way. So Gafenki, where was he up to? I don't think he was ahead of Fletcher, so I think he was like 14th. It's Gafenki, so he hasn't lost that many places. And Palach is now had an off, so that's the end of the Palach Bonjour battle. Now don't move forwards, Good, move backwards. Big great move for that Palach. Now no, there's cars coming, Oh, it was going so well. And then it wasn't going so well, but I think he got away with that. Palach down to 27, that was De Boer he was just moving past, I think.
Oh my, it's not been the best of nights for Make Palach, all things being considered. One to chalk up and forget, I think, for the Course and Racing driver. Now, I think, Sam, Danny Lee's got away with that pit lane exit because he's still going around.
Anger? What's happened to the lead?
Oh, well, Gaten Anger is up into the lead and by a fair old margin as well. Rosens has had a big problem.
The gap was 2 seconds the other way, and yeah, this is a mistake from Rosens. Was it in traffic or not? I wonder if it was because of
Lamborghini
traffic.
there. Yes, Lamborghini. Yeah, here we go. There's a Lamborghini, I think, spins in front of... Oh, no. No, I don't believe it. So... Oh... Rosens doesn't get any damage, but just a damaged pride, unfortunately, there. Had to avoid the Lamborghini, who was completely broadside across the circuit, and Gaten Anger, he is... Well, if you listen very closely, you can just hear him killing himself laughing at the wheel of that, unable to believe his luck right now.
Yeah, unlucky for reasons. I mean, it was... Well, it's the back markers, isn't it? In this series. Lost him at Monza when he came into the pits, and lost him potentially the race win here at Hockenheim as well. It's a massive shame. He's got 2.8 seconds to catch up, 14 minutes to go. I doubt he'll have too much. I mean, him and Anger were really matching each other, and I doubt Rosens was leaving too much on the table. He'll do well to keep behind Pixera from here on in, because Pixera's been extremely quick throughout this race, been cooped up in traffic in the early stages, but has really had some good pace ever since, so it could be a good battle between these drivers towards the end of the race. By the way, one of our sponsors for this championship that we're going to give a quick shout out to, Virtual Racing School. You are the go-to if you're looking to improve your on-track performance. They've got over 50 data packs for pros and oval racing. Those are updated weekly, so as the official series visits each circuit, there'll be replays and setups available for each of those rounds. So it's absolutely essential if you're looking to get some good results on iRacing. Setups, track guides. There's also some fantastic data analysis software, and you can also get one-on-one coaching with some of the best drivers in all of iRacing, and that's both on the road and oval sides of racing. So if you're interested in all of that, go visit Virtual Racing School. yourself a subscription. It's all going on, isn't it? That's what's just got past Gafenki, who I guess has got damage after he crashed earlier on, of course. And Aaron Smith is caught back up to Tom Bingham. So despite the damage for Smith, there was a huge hit into the wall, and yet he might still get second place in the amateur category.
And that would be a Herculean effort to be able to do that for Aaron Smith. Let's see what happens here. It's one of the Core Sim Racing cars. Lunging up the inside. Oh, a little bit of a scrape there as well. So coming back to, I tell you what, I am surprised, Sam. Danny Lee has not been given a penalty for that coming out of pit lane there.
Yeah, so I think I derailed the topic, didn't I? Because,
no. Kenny Rosen's losing the lead derailed it, which was fine.
Okay, I thought I'd talked about something random. Yeah, I don't know how that works. Of course, at Monza, it's a bit messed up, isn't it? Because you can cross it about halfway down the pit line, but I am surprised because he was over it. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt he was over it, at least for a bit. But yeah, he must have known something we didn't know.
Oh, well, do you know what the thing is now? What will happen is when we're doing a race at Hockenheim, we'll go, oh, you can go across the blind line here, and it'll be like, you got a 40-second stop and go. You'll be like, no, this is your fault, Danny Lee. He's maybe it's only if you're a Mercedes, of course, the sponsor here. You can see their logo on the top of the arena. Maybe if you're in a Mercedes, you're allowed to cross the blend line, but any other manufacturer, forget it.
I think that's it's a very good shout. It's a very good shout. As long as we can get the same thing at McLaren, say, what about at Silverstone? The McLarens don't have to use the pit lane limiter. I think that'd be fair.
In Detroit, the Ford and the Corvette can they get another 100 horsepower, whereas the Ferrari is given free-wheel drive.
I'd be up for that. This is for second place in the outer category. Smith turning in very late. Oh, that's how you do it. That's a lovely shape. And he should have this second place. This is where he had his collision over on Aaron Smith, and he's nearly had another one there, but he is ahead. And there's also been something that's just happened up ahead for Fletcher, Rebstad, and Nikola Javic. Nikola Javic has actually just dropped down. How far? Oh yeah, he's lost loads of time, Nikola Javic. So you get a replay of that one because he was with that Lee Fletcher battle, but now he is miles away from it. Here's the replay. Oh wow, he lost it by himself? No, so this is Fletcher then, who's lost out, but then Fletcher's gone back up the inside and they've made a collision. So apologies, that was Vern and Nikola Javic. So apologies for that. That was Vern and Nikola Javic who came together heading into the stadium. So they're both lost out. They were both with Lee and Fletcher, and now they're 13th and 16th.
That was very clumsy there from Vern. When you've had a big moment like that, you don't need to go and that's a fast corner. It's sort of third, maybe fourth gear in these cars. It's quick and it's blind. So if you just stuff it up the inside there, you are going to make contact. And well, we saw the result of it. Well, quite a high attrition rate tonight, Sam, I would say.
Yeah, it's good that we got faster pairs in this series, isn't it? I think we had 53 starters. I think Lemeray started, but he didn't go for very long. Still got 44 running, so we've had about 10 retirements so far. And of course, if you do have a big crash, you can just pick up the faster pair of it, or not all drivers do so. Oh, this is a bit depressing, isn't it? This is Stix and Newman, who started in second and third places, now running the 7th and 8th. Stix got unceremoniously taken out, I think. Lots happened in this race, and I think Newman was tapped around as well, so they're now just fighting amongst each other. That's a big shame for them, guys, because yeah, they would have been looking to get a double podium at the start of the race.
Yeah, Sticks had that moment coming out of the Parabolica, and they just had a big old twitch, and Gate and Anger right behind him couldn't avoid him, and off he went. The Mr. Plough Lamborghini at its best, unfortunately. And oh dearie me, as you see Juan Manuel Calleja getting very wet and wild there, and Jason Hodgson goes by.
That was the race leader.
I do apologise. Going one lap down then as well is Juan Manuel Calleja, but he still has the fastest sounding name. Mind you, Gate and Anger is a pretty cool name when you think about it.
I mean, I think the tabloids will have a field day with that one, won't they?
Easiest, whenever I write the race reports, ARL GT Trophy, easiest titles to write, because normally Gate and Anger wins and you can come up with all kinds of brilliant headlines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's still Scott.
Looking forward to putting in the BSR Winter Series Radical champion without winning a race somehow into tomorrow's Porsche Cup report. So you'll need to do something notable, Sam. Either win or have an enormous accident, one of the two.
Well, I mean, finishing 11th and 16th, in my mind, that's very notable. But
in the AM class.
Oi, no, I'm in the pro. All right.
I noticed that.
I'm doing really well. I'm top 10 in the championship. It's going well. Marriott might be past Poulet here. Poulet did get past earlier on, but Marriott had that little bit of a collision. It's nearly getting past Winkler as well, catching up to these drivers. Winkler 1.5 seconds behind, just caught them up by about a tenth and a half that last time round. Grimstad's just got past Nikola Javich, by the way, as you can see, just the green and red highlighting occasionally on the timing tower. Still Karagiet, leader of the amateur class. They're in second place in that one. But there's been an issue for Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith has had another problem. He was in second place in the amateur category. And I wonder if Smith and Bingham have come together, because I think they've lost some time. Smith now coming out of the track. He went over the white line as well, though, at least touched it, but I guess he'll get away with that one. Good shout. So maybe he's got incidents. I do have the ability to look at that. I'm not sure if he does because I've got the overlay up on the screen, but I think that's a good shout.
He's been in the wars, not all by his own doing, but of course the iRacing incident points system, folks. You have 1 incident point for going over track limits, 2 incident points for a spin, as Nikola Javich into pit lane here as well, coming in I think for a fast repair. Let's see.
I think this might be a drive-through as well.
Drive-through as well. It's a strange way to serve it, but if you have contact with another driver, it's 4 incident points. The drivers get 16 incident points in every race, and it doesn't take much. And of course, if someone hits you up the back, you still get your 4 incident points, which is one way to raise the temper, I always think.
It's a side-by-side for 4th position at the moment. Poulet is holding on to this place against Marriott. Marriott got ahead into the Mercedes grandstand section. And there might be alongside into the arena section now. Very narrow parts of the circuit this. And Poulet is doing just about enough. Winkler still hasn't caught up to these guys, but he's only 1 second behind. You can just see him in the course sim racing car. And this could be a three battle towards the end. 4 minutes to go. And Anger maintaining that gap to Reasons, who's maintaining the gap to Pixia. And there's this very tight battle for 4th place. Barrett nearly got it done on the last lap, but if he gets the same chance, I back him to make it this time, I think.
Well, this is a fascinating battle emerging here between these two drivers. Although the badges on these cars are different, Audi and Lamborghini, they do have some similarities. You know, the same engine, 5.2 litre V10 mounted in the middle of the car, but actually they are developed independently from one another. The Lamborghini, I would say, just a slightly more stable car here on iRacing. And look at Maxime Marriott for fiercely forward, looking to go fiercely around the outside, and just a little bit too late on the brakes there. And actually, if you look at that, Winkler in the Corson Racing Audi, he's coming into the fray here with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, he caught up by quarter of a second. It was actually a rubbish lap that time for Winkler. I think he must have got held up in traffic because he should have been right on them, but he actually set at 39 when the other leads went at 37, so hot lap for him there. Engel is, well, he's done well actually, as Engel, hasn't he? I was very mean to Engel earlier. I was saying, oh, I expect him to be higher. He's driving well. He's driven well in this final kind of 20 minutes or so. And he's back up into 13th. Oh, no. He's hit the wall. He's driving absolutely terribly, Engel. One of the worst performances I've ever seen in a race. And, yeah. Sorry, Dominic.
You do take no prisoners, do you? Less good than normal. Let's say that. Jonathan Poulet still hanging on to this position, but all this bickering is allowing Winkler in the Audi for Corson Racing to come into the fray. And oh, Marriott very late on the brakes there, nearly tapped into the back of Poulet. Onto the back straight they go. Now I think it will be one to go at the line. This is a penultimate lap, I think.
Yep. Oh, here comes the runs.
Oh,
they're all very deep, aren't they? And then there's the back marker as well. I wonder if we could just go back up to Poulet and Marriott just in case there is a move. Marriott's actually, at least according to the timing tower, a little bit far back as we've had a spinner in the back, and I think that was another back marker. Maybe Vaka or Gaia or Kalea. I think that was Kayaya actually. It's bad for him. He's dropped a couple of places. Lisa, also of the amateur category heading into this round. But yeah, Poulet actually managed to hold on, so hasn't really been able to muster up an attack these last couple of laps. He's kind of forced his opponent offline, but it's like if you have the outside into the hand, it's kind of tricky to do anything with it. Fletcher and Lee are going for the pride of Britain at the moment. That is, wow, look at Fletcher around the outside. Wow, this would be a terrific move through Sachs corner. He should have the better line into the nothing chicane. And heading into the penultimate corner, Mark Fletcher up into the top 10. That was one of the best moves of the day.
That was a very well set up move. Yeah, very clean indeed. I mean, what would you expect in the battle for the Tea and Crumpet Cup for the best British driver as well? Just good manners going past there as well. Oh, Aaron Smith. It's not been his. Well, it was his day, and then all of a sudden, it really wasn't. Big move up inside here. Jason Hodgson. Round he goes. But interestingly, Kenny Rosens is taking lumps of time out of Gate and Anger, but I feel that Anger does have it in hand as our timing screen refreshes and goes back to where it was.
Here is Marriott. He's finally made the move on Poulet. Poulet went very wide. It's just happened. And, well, he's ahead now. Poulet's back ahead. Here comes Marriott. It's all over the place. Around the outside is that contact. They're very close to it, but Marriott's finally got up into 4th position, and Winkler might go through as well, but we're going to have to cut to the race leader, I think.
Yep, Gate and Anger, well, he pulled one out the hat at Monza a week ago, and it's a brilliant victory here at Hockenheim. Poor old Kenny Rosens, unfortunately, the unfortunate, I didn't get away with that mid-incident with the back marker, but Gate and Anger is your winner here in round 2 of the Apex Racing League GT Trophy. Kenny Rosens comes home second, and Piesi, the Portuguese, in third. And Marriott does get the place there in 4th position from Poulet. And look at Danny Lee. Danny Lee has got back up the inside of Fletcher here. Is he going to get the last spot in the top 10? They drag race to the line. It's Audi versus Mercedes. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Danny Lee, I think. Yes, it is. Checkered flag out. Oh, what a battle there for the Tea and Crumpet Cup.
And that was Andrew Yutzi just in front of there. What happened to Andrew Yutzi on the last lap? He lost. Or was he with them all the time? Maybe he was with them all the time. I think I was just behind. I don't think Andrew Yutzi ever dropped them. So 5/1000 separated the 3 of them. And Fletcher was less than $1,000 a second behind Lee. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if the timing screen showed us something different, because Sometimes that does happen on iRacing. Meanwhile, Karagiet wins the amateur category and in dominant fashion as well. It was a competitive order tonight, but he was really the only one who kept it out of harm's way whilst Bingham and Smith had problems. Karagiet managed to take it home, and I believe that will be the championship lead in the amateur category after tonight. Dabur and Reagan will be the only two drivers. Only two other drivers who finished on the lead lap in the amateur category. So great work from them to finish in those places.
Indeed. Well, what a race here at Hockenheim. It looked like Kenny Rosens had it in the bag, but Sam, he really was robbed there. What could he have done?
Yeah, I don't think there was anything he could do. Was I mean, he had to pick away. He might feel in reflection maybe he could have taken a slightly tighter line, didn't have to go so far, but I think he was going to lose the lead anyway. And that's the pressure that Gates Anger puts you under, isn't it? If you can stay within 2 seconds, you can take advantage of those incidents, and that's what the defending champion did.
Indeed, he did. So confirming then, Gatenanger, your winner then by 2.6 seconds from Kenny Rosens, with Antonio Piesi rounding out the podium. Maxime Marriott gets that 4th position spot from Jonathan Poulet, with Carl Winkler right behind in 6th, Sven Newman 7th, and Pascal Stix in a Corsim Racing trio of drivers there as well. Leandro Andaruti was 9th, with Danny Lee just edging out by 3 thousandths of a second from Mark Fletcher for the best of the Brits. Now we're and of course in the pro class. In the AM class, Alan Carisier winning by 24 seconds over Vivian de Beer, with Phil Reagan rounding out the top 3 in AM, with Tom Bingham, Aaron Smith, Jason Hodgson, Fernando Torres, Manuel Wacker, Marcus Geyer, and Juan Manuel Calleja rounding out the top 10 in the AM class. Well, we're 2 rounds down, Sam. 7 to go. It looks like we're going to have a battle on our hands between, well, Rosens and his Valkyrie Racing teammates, and Gatenanger is going to have his hands full.
Yeah, it's sizing up pretty nicely, isn't it? I think Anger and Rosens are kind of the two who kind of stick out at the moment as the championship favourites. But I mean, we've got such a stacked field further down, haven't we? And then of course the amateur category looking really unpredictable. I think there's a lot of amateur drivers who haven't shown anywhere near their potential, who've qualified really well so far. Had top 30 qualifyings, mixed it up with the pro drivers, and yet I've just had rubbish lap ones. Because that's where kind of the incidents have been at the front of the amateur category so far on those laps, ones who haven't shown their potential. So yeah, tricky to call the amateur championship, but yeah, Anger and Rosens really setting up a potentially a nice duel for the championship. But yeah, of course, so many others as well, I think, will be mixing up. By the way, I would just say a correction. Our timing screen was saying that Andrew Uti was really close to Liam Fletcher. He was nowhere near. Andrew Uti was 7 seconds up the road, so apologies for the confusion there. But yeah, Lee did beat Fletcher by 2 1,000ths of a second at the line, by the way. That was a very close finish for 10th place.
Absolutely incredibly close finish there at the end. And Danny Lee, he really had to work for it, and by far and away the top Mercedes driver as well. Well, we've had Monza, we've had Hockenheim. Where are we off to next, Sam?
We are heading to Road Atlanta for the next round of the championship. And I will just say before that, we should give another shout out to another one of our sponsors, Apex Racing Academy, because they help us out on Apex Racing TV by sponsoring this broadcast. We super appreciate their support. Apex Racing Academy with 29 data packs on road racing and also rallycross racing as well. You've got setups, track guides. It's integrated with VRS, which is awesome. And there's weekly group coaching sessions as well. You can book one-on-one coaching sessions as well. So visit apexracingac.com in order to download everything there. One of the great things about Apex Racing Academy is that just the ease of use. Whenever you load up into an iRacing session, it downloads all the setups that you need. So you don't need to go to the website, download stuff, put it in your file directory. You literally load up into the session and they're magically there. It's so good takes absolutely no time to use, and you just yeah, are straight away up to speed. So do check out Apex Racing AC for more on that. But yeah, Road Atlanta, the next round of the championship before we have the first of our couple of break weeks. So yeah, I think that'll be the last week before week 13 actually. So yeah, coming to the end of this iRacing season, and yeah, it'll be a good way to round it off.
That it will. Well, we have our top 10 finisher and top Mercedes, Daniel Lee, joining us in the commentary box, and he is with Sam Fitzpatrick.
Welcome, Danny. Happy to have a chat with you. First up, there's many questions that scientists are scratching their heads over. Where does gravity come from? For example, what is the true facts of black holes? I think the number one now is how on earth did you not get a stop-go penalty for what you clearly did was extending the pit exit line?
Clearly, there must be some kind of reverse handicap for the AMG, which means that it can get away with this stuff because it's supposedly not the most competitive car. But oh my god, seriously, that was 60 minutes of just jam packed, just racing. So good. I don't know how I got a drive. I don't know how I didn't get a drive through for that cross. I guess they don't care if you put a toe over the line, but a whole car would be too much. But yeah, me and Conan side by side, unbelievable stuff. He kept me so focused. I don't know how I got to the end of that.
Your qualifying wasn't amazing, but we've just seen your race start. You're on the inside. You got through it all, and I think from that moment onwards, you were just glued to Mark Fletcher. I mean, you mentioned Conan as well out there, but you and Mark in particular, that one lasted all the way to the finish. Talk us through that kind of final lap where you seemed to get him by 2/1000ths of a second.
It was so good. That finish is probably one of the closest and just generally most stressful I've ever encountered because Mark, he spent most of the race kind of dropping a tenth here and there. I felt comfy, but then it felt as if maybe the tyres were going off a little bit. I was running low wing here. I don't know whether you noticed, to play to the Merc strength, but I think after the 45th minute, tyres were looking a bit tired. So he gained a couple of attempts on me. The back markers, I was really unlucky with traffic, generally speaking, including right at the end, as you saw. The Lambo, basically, Mark knew I was bottled up behind him, and I think he just put the throttle down to try and pit me to the end, and it nearly paid off. Very, very opportunistic, but he absolutely hassled me all the way to the end. And to Conan and Mark, unbelievable stuff, amazing racing, and that's exactly what I've come to expect.
The whole field was fairly close today. I mean, you only finished 24 seconds behind the race leaders, and considering the amount of battling that you had out there, your pace was good. Were you expecting your pace to be that good, or was that your true pace at Monza, but you just weren't able to show it, or do you think there was a bit of an upturn here at Hockenheim?
I think my qualifying form has been rubbish lately, to be honest with you. In Monza, it was rubbish, and that put me down in all the incidents and knocked me to the back of the grid. This time, qualifying was also a bit rubbish. I invalidated my first two laps, I got a banker lap in, and then invalidated the third, or it just wasn't going to improve. So I'm qualifying badly lately. But the car is set up to be strong in the race. It's set up to be 5, 6, 7 kilometers an hour faster than every other car once you get to that sixth gear, which really paid off here. There were some incredibly just overtakes that should not be happening. And it's all due to the fact that I had that extra kilometre an hour or two on the other cars, even when there was two cars in a tow. Mark will attest to this, I'm sure, when him and Dominic Engel were sort of in the midst of overtaking each other, I just came from the back and overtook them both and made it 3 wide into the hairpin, which, bit naughty, but everybody came out the other end of it.
We've got Road Atlanta as the next round of the championship. I'm sure you don't forget, as I don't forget, your first ever Apex Racing League GT win was at Road Atlanta. That was the endurance meeting. Is that one of your strong circuits?
It is. It's probably one of my strongest, if not the strongest circuit for me. And owing to the fact that there's a big, massive straight there, the tactic's going to be the same. If I'm 3 temps behind you, say goodbye to your place because it's mine, basically. Love Road Atlanta, always have, and it should continue good form here.
Awesome. Well, best of luck for that one, Danny. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Thanks to the guys who fought me on the grid today, Mark, Conan, Dominic, all the folks in that pack. So clean, but also really, really tough. Thank you for an awesome race. Cheers to you guys for the broadcast and the administration of the league. You do a great job. And thanks to Performance Link for letting us ride with them. They do performance car parts. Get in touch with them if you want something. They can usually source it. And thanks to the viewers.
Awesome. Thanks for having a chat with us, Danny. And yeah, we'll see you back next week.
Cheers. Thanks, Sam.
Danny Lee there, your 10th place finisher tonight, kind of best of the rest after that kind of top 9 got away in the early stages. But no, Danny did very well to finish in that 10th position.
That he did, yeah. And as he explained to us there, really had to work hard for it as well. It was a big battle out there tonight in round 2 of the Apex Racing League GT Trophy. Join myself, Peter Mackay, and Sam Fitzpatrick next week at Road Atlanta, one of my absolute favourite circuits. If you've never seen it before, do tune in. It's an absolute cracker. So we will be back next time, Tuesday, 7 p.m. GMT in a week's time, and we shall see you there. Thanks for watching, and good night.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyse and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyse and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.